Hello and welcome to the SEO Plus AI show. My name is Josh. Everything is BS Bashinsky. Today I'm joined by two of our favorite guests on the show, George Johnson and Ryan Mazie. Say hi there, George and Ryan.
Hey, how you
Hi,
doing?
everyone.
For those folks who've never seen the SEO Plus AI show before, we are the finest place on the YouTubes to find information about SEO and artificial intelligence and the convergence of SEO and artificial intelligence. And you cannot do SEO without understanding artificial intelligence and using artificial intelligence in your daily process. Today's show is going to be about pillar pages. Are they BS? Are they not? What are pillar pages? Does Josh even know what a pillar page is? We'll find out today on today's show, Pillar Pages or BS. So before we talk about how pillar pages are BS, this is the SEO Plus AI show. We do two shows. We do a live show, which is Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, and you're welcome to join live. You can ask any questions. You can ask any SEO questions. We'd be happy to help you out, give you free SEO knowledge. Both George and Ryan are gurus in local SEO. I've been doing SEO in general, both local and global. So we're here to help you out. Also, we have another show which is produced and we put it out on Friday at 10 a.m. So if you want a more polished version, by all means, watch the version on Friday at 10 a.m. And make sure you click the monkey and smack the bell and click all the stuff and like and subscribe and do all the talk ticks and all the things you're supposed to do down there. Do it all down there. And then you'll be told when we go live on the tube views. All right. So before we get to pillar pages or BS, George and Ryan, I'll start with George. What's new in the SEO world for you? What's going on?
I am playing around more with AI, more and more and more. And because I do the not bright thing that you put on your head a lot.
The hat you're speaking of? Yes.
yes. Thing, skull covering.
Yes.
The thing. I'm finding out that there's ways that you can automate activity of accounts. Let's call it hands-free, if you will.
Sure.
Hands-free activity in such a way where some overlord will see it and say, hey, this thing is doing something and I like it, and let me give it credit for its work.
Awesome. Well, if that didn't make any
sense. That was
sense,
not cryptic enough.
If that wasn't cryptic enough. Make sure, action at a distance, spooky action, quantum entanglement of ranking signals, if that are completely hands-free. So that's awesome. So if anyone wants to know more about that, please make sure you contact George J at georgedigital.net. Ryan, what's new in your SEO neck of the woods?
Man, so much. I've been definitely so busy lately with all these Google updates coming out and new things you're going to have to pivot for and do. Mostly signed a couple new clients, which is great. Still bringing on people and training them and trying to talk people into how SEO is still appropriate for a marketing campaign. It's just not that it's like you can't do it. It's just that not everyone can do it now. But I'm just kind of been scaling a little bit and trying to manage all the things.
No doubt. How do you mean everyone can't do SEO? How do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I'm having a lot of people come and reach out where they're either worked with the company and they weren't getting results, or they had an internal guy who wasn't doing it. They get hit with spam update and all that. And so they're coming in and they come in with a lot of doubt because they've been through maybe one or two or three people. Right. And so it's like you really got to overcome the objective, show them some case studies, explain the method and science and ecosystem behind what's happening. And also show how, although all this is happening now, it's going to work out better in the future when you look at the general trends. Some people think that organic is going to be gone or search isn't going to be a good option. But my argument to people is that so long as people have a quest or are out to learn and search for information, which is natural, human, we just want to learn, search will always be an option for marketing. And just in general in the industry, it's always pivoting. How people access information changes. You just got to be on the ball with how that's updating.
Indeed. And I would agree entirely. Yeah. And that's a really good point. I mean, a lot of people lately don't think that, some people don't think that SEO is real anymore, that you can do it. You definitely can. It definitely is. But you need to use AI. You need to understand the AIs that Google is using to rank content. Mm-hmm. And you need to use your own AIs to analyze the content, analyze the competitors, analyze the semantic relationships, analyze the vector embeddings, analyze the entity annotations. You have to use it to understand all of that stuff, and then you can definitely do SEO. 5-second sales pitch. We've built this all into our AI called SEO Copilot. Go to SEOCopilotAI.com and try it free for 2 weeks, no credit card needed. It automates a ton of the work for you. It automates about 99% of your on-page work and reduces your on-page costs probably, again, around 99%, depending on what it is you were paying. 99% for me, I used to pay $1,500 for a white hat, well-written US writer article, 10 or 15 hours of research and writing at $100 an hour. That's down to $144 if you're on the $144 per month plan. So you definitely can still do SEO, and you definitely can save costs. AI is not the end of SEO. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of this.
It's true. 100%. I couldn't agree more with that. And I'm actually, although it's the challenging thing that most people come is that typically SEO in the past was like this dwarfed child. It was like the runt of the marketing campaign where everyone wanted you to do it. No one wanted to see it. And the reason people don't want it to be seen is because naturally people, they stuffed keywords in, didn't read well. But with AI, a lot of that's becoming like a thing in the past. SEO and search tactics needs to be integrated, I find, into all aspects of your marketing campaign.
Yes.
So your social, your LinkedIn, connecting people, who's behind the business. It's not just about the page anymore. It's about the whole business as a whole. And if you don't have a good marketing background, if you don't understand business, people's thinking, you're gonna have a hard time getting it out there, because every time they come up with an update, you're just gonna have to look more like a real business, which means talking about real facts, doing real things. It's just the way it goes. And it's going to be better for businesses long-term because the fake ones are going to fall out. You just got to keep up with the race and you'll be fine.
I couldn't agree more, Ryan. Very well said. So speaking of which, we're talking about old, outdated SEO tactics and how SEO needs to change into a more holistic process and procedure, aided by artificial intelligence. Wouldn't hurt. And some spooky action at a distance, as our friend George mentioned, couldn't hurt either. Yes, it still exists. Yes, SEO still exists of both hat varieties. But let's dig in. So today's topic is pillar pages, and I'm here to say, F you Ahrefs. Pillar pages is BS. Apparently, I was very persuaded by the Tom Brady roast. Now I'm going to be Kevin Smart on every. F you Ahrefs. F you Tom Brady every time. F you Ahrefs. Pillar pages is BS, complete BS. All of the old SEO ideas, not all of them, but most of the old SEO ideas of like how to trick the system, or because that's what it was. Pillar pages was, I don't know, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to get it to define it so we have an exact thing that I'm critiquing. Because here's the other problem with the SEO industry is that one person says pillar pages, they actually mean silos. And when one person says silos, they mean top load clusters. When one person says top load clusters, they mean this. So there is no, in the nomenclature, it's all just colloquial. It's all just made up by the culture. And there's various subcultures in SEO, or there was, although Google is doing their best to destroy all of SEO so we have to buy ads. Don't fall into that tactic. Don't buy ads. Don't give Google the money that they want. Keep doing SEO. It is both possible and highly, highly lucrative still to do. With Google doing us the favor of knocking all our competition out of the SERP, now all that money is there for us. Now is the time to get the moolahs if you're using AI for SEO. So today's episode is about pillar pages, and I'm here to say, pro tip, TLDR, I'm going to say they're BS, but we're going to define them first, and then you'll see why I think they're BS. So let's do that. Let's go here to ChatGPT. What are pillar pages in SEO? It says pillar pages in SEO are comprehensive, authoritative web pages that cover a broad topic in depth and link to related content clusters. They serve as the central hub of a content for a particular topic and are designed to provide detailed information on that topic while also guiding readers to more specific related articles. Here's a breakdown of the key aspects of pillar pages. 1. Broad topic coverage. Pillar pages cover a broad topic comprehensively. They provide a high-level overview and detailed insights. Okay, content clusters. Pillar pages are supported by a cluster of related content pieces. These are more specific articles or blog posts that delve into subtopics, aka a topical cluster. Each of these pieces link back to the pillar page, creating a web of interconnected content. Internal linking structure. That's their internal linking structure, as we said. SEO benefits, improved rankings, false. Enhanced user experience, false. Reduce keyword cannibalization, false.
Yeah.
That could make kind of keyword cannibalization. Blah, 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 evergreen content, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see who here believes in pillar pages. Let's go here. Pillar pages. Who ranks for this? HubSpot, SEMrush. F you, SEMrush. Never trust SEMrush. the Madison Marketing Group, Search Engine Journal. Neil Patel. There he is. I knew I would find either Neil Patel or Brian Dean up here talking about pillar pages and now how they will help your search engine rankings. So that, folks, is what pillar pages are. They are giant content pieces that have a table of contents of some form and some kind of cluster. So let's go through methodically what ChatGPT said was the benefits of this. And I will tell you how that's not true at all in any way, shape, or form. So here's the problem. There are so many problems with pillar pages. Just as there's so many problems with old SEO knowledge. It doesn't work. As Ryan just said, tons of places are getting nailed, tons of places are getting hit, tons of agencies aren't even bothered to do SEO anymore because they're too scared of it, because it doesn't work, all the old tactics don't work, all the old smoke screens don't work. Statistically, they're being hammered. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the SEO industry, and Ryan's nodding his head, but lots of SEOs are being hammered because they're doing outdated tactics. Lots of agencies are being hammered because they're doing outdated tactics. Lots of companies don't want to do SEO because they were doing either outdated tactics or they're too scared now to do tactics. They don't know what works. So we here at the SEO Plus AI show, we also run SEO University, which is an independent single variable testing group that tests what's going on in SEO. For example, you might have noticed I have the Google API documentation up here that was leaked recently. And I've got all kinds of tests going on about this and knowing about this. If you want to know more about this, email me at joshpashinsky@gmail.com. I'd be happy to help you out. But the long story short is, if you're using outdated tactics like pillar posts, then it's not going to work anymore. You notice how there was no scientific proof given by ChatGPT there? And I guarantee on Neil Patel's page there from 10 years ago that it'll be like, this will work great, but there's no proof offered that this works at all. We've tested pillar pages at SEO University, and we're here to say they're BS. They're complete and utter BS. Let me tell you why, for a number of reasons. One, user intent, as Ryan brought up. The user intent of that particular query might not be for an informational pillar page that has a bunch of content. Sometimes users want quick answers. And so that is a very logical reason why pillar posts would not help you in that particular case. There's another myth in the SEO industry that longer pages rank better. And that's implicit, I think, in this pillar page idea that longer pages rank better. Guys, have you heard that before? The myth that longer pages rank better?
Yeah, I heard that before, and I think it was you never play the game telephone and someone says something, by the time it gets around the circle, it's completely different. I know that in the past we knew there was a minimum amount of data content, but you kind of needed to get things read and ranked properly, and I think that just kind of changed in time. Things going super long isn't a deal. And the site actually I showed you, Josh, that had all those hits on it that we're starting to recover from, they were a shining example of lots of pillar pages where they would pick one keyword and the keyword would be like the top of what you might consider that topic. And the page was like 5,000, 6,000 words. It mentioned everything on it, linked to different YouTube stuff. The idea was that we're going to amplify these signals to get a ranking. And for a long time, the tactic worked for that. But then when these spam updates came out, intent became more important. Those pages, they fell. Because when you have everything on one page about one thing, how do you put that to the right user? Yeah. Right? How do you know? There's too many different niches, and I do think that you want to fully cover a topic, but pillar pages go like the topic out of it, I would say. There's a specific point where you want to hit to make sure you cover it, and it's specifically to the need of the one user you're making it for.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, I like that with that same idea. These are also used to be called skyscraper posts.
Yep.
And from a mental visual idea, you're thinking straight up and down, right? Like, these things are huge. Yeah, but to Ryan's point, a pillar or skyscraper, but to Ryan's point, they're actually very broad. They're actually wide, right? Wide as an ocean, deep as a pond type of thing, which doesn't help if you're looking for something specific.
Mm-hmm. No.
And helpful.
Yeah, and helpful.
Wink.
Yeah. That was during the age of people educating the world for free, right? And that age is definitely done. That's going to be Google's job with their AI, but I'll get that in a second. Speaking of which, Ryan mentioned that I'm just going to show everybody that example, actually, Ryan, if you don't mind. I'm going to show them the example here in our wins. This was the example here, quite frankly. And Ryan, you can talk us through it if you want to do it anymore, but this was the site you're talking about that was doing all kind of outdated SEO tactics that was just crushed by the spam updates. and you were using SEO Copilot's proprietary spam score to get it back here.
Correct.
And if you're like, what's that, Josh? Let me show you. In SEO Copilot here in the article builder, we have a spam score, right? We have a proprietary spam score, an AI that has been programmed with the specific quality rater information and the specific spam information and guidelines that Google has given to make sure you're not making spammy content. And this statistically correlates very strongly with rankings. The lower your spam score, definitely the better. This particular AI voice agent article that was written has a spam score of 0, which is good. So we could talk a little bit more about that later on the show, but I just wanted to show that you can use AI to fight AI. In fact, the only way you can, it's like Terminator 2. The only way you could fight AI is with AI, right? So you need to get AI working for you. And that's what Ryan was able to do to fix some of these other issues.
Also, a quick point: if you're curious if the content that you're creating is spam related, don't have these tools. An easier measure of thumb, I say, is look at your EMQ, whatever you're trying to target. Look at the individual words of it, the PMQs. See how many times they're mentioned. If you're targeting, plumber installs Victoria, and plumber installs is mentioned more than the word and, more than the word the, that's not natural language. You can just do a control. You can just control F and see that. And that just shows that you're not using diverse language and you're obviously focusing on the one. Now, that's a very simple way to look at the characteristics. The tool does a lot better job at guiding it. But when you're thinking about, am I doing stuff right? See how many times you use those words. And you'll probably be surprised.
That's exactly one of the things that makes a page spammy. Exactly.
I was going to also mention, as I'm digging in more into AI stuff, I'm also digging into AI image generation. And one of the things is when you're training models, you want an image of this of the same thing. So say, take my face. You want my face here, 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 but you want it all the same thing, but different.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. Like Google is looking at your page and saying, okay, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the same thing differently? Right. And going back to your tool allows or helps with that. It makes it easy.
Yeah. How do you say the right words in the right way while still adding value compared to the 50 other pages, or 50,000 of the pages that are trying to do the exact same thing? That's the challenge, right? That's the challenge. And that's how AI can help people do it. Being a subject matter expert helps. Of course, Google has the famous acronym EAT. You want to show your expertise, your experience, your authority, and therefore have trustworthy content. Of course, implicit in that is saying, if you're not a 20-year veteran in this industry, don't write a page about it. But that's not going to work for SEO, right? I'm only a 20-year veteran in like 3 or 4 things. I'm not a 20-year veteran in anything that someone can hire me to do a page about. So that's how AI can get the expertise and the experience. It has all that knowledge built into its giant corpora, which is the plural of the word corpus. It built into its index. Google has that information, but also the AIs have this information if you know how to program them correctly and use them correctly. So you need to use an AI like SEO Copilot here, which again, I'll show you, that has scores that tell you exactly what the quality content means. We have a HEAT score, a proprietary helpfulness, experience, expertise, authority, and trust score that rates you on 40 different metrics here that actually come directly from Google to make sure that you have insightful analysis that is beyond the obvious, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But will that pillar page succeed just because it's a pillar page? If you write that long content, is it going to work? And the answer is no. I'm sorry. Pillar pages are BS. They're not quality just because they're long. They're not saying the right words, not saying in the right way, as these guys have mentioned. And they may or may not hit the exact right semantic scoring you want as well. For example, take a look at this. This semantic score here is very important, right? You need to make sure you're in the Goldilocks zone and get this score green. This highly, highly correlates with rankings. I have thousands and thousands of records to prove that this highly correlates with rankings the way we do our proprietary semantic score, which is based off of actual AIs that Google uses, such as RankBrain, BERT. They also use another way of ranking BERT, TW-BERT, term weighting BERT, for term weighting, for entity term weighting and annotations. And then we also have a query interpretation test. We're also adding in here primary and secondary query intent into the phrases, and we're going to be adding in other kinds of phrases in there as well. We keep adding to the results and scoring up the actual AIs that Google uses, like RankBrain and BERT, and some of these other technologies. Query interpretation they use for sure as well. That was well known before the API leak. And if you don't get this right in terms of your competitors, for example, take a look at this. Here's where we're doing the semantic scoring, and we're taking a look at the median semantic score. If you don't have the right competitors in mind for the semantic score, it's going to be wrong. And that's why pillar pages, again, are a terrible idea. Because, for example, this page here would be like a pillar page. It's 3,600 words. But you notice all the rest of them are not. In fact, you notice some of them are quite short, in fact. And that has to do with the query intent and knowing what the right intent is for the different kind of query. But sadly, pillar pages don't take any of that into account. Pillar pages just go, well, if it's long, it must be good.
Pillar pages was a solution to try and make SEO easy. Do it all. Blanket hit all the topic. Just find it all, write something about it. Don't learn about your audience and what they want. Just write a lot of content. And that doesn't hit intent as well, and intent's important.
And that reminds me of another thing. That's another reason why why pillar pages are BS and you shouldn't be doing it. Because everyone else has been doing it. And Google has trained SpamBrain on trying to find that content. People who have been doing it have been hit by the spam updates, right? It's a general rule of thumb that whatever the general SEO industry is doing to try and fake signals like pillar pages is not what you want to do, because that's exactly how Google is training their AIs to find the content that they want to punt out of the SERP. The SERP stands for search engine results pages. And I know people out there are probably confused. They're like, but Josh, I thought pillar pages was white hat. I thought that was a good thing to do. And the answer is no. No, you're trying to manipulate Google's search rankings by making pillar pages. Maybe there was a day that they liked it, or maybe because everyone was doing it, you saw them a lot and Google never liked it. You never really know. No one ever really proved it. Just because Brian Dean and Neil Patel say it's good does not make it good. Those guys actually have very little idea what they're talking about, especially in this AI age of how SEO works. I haven't seen them put out anything relevant for years, quite frankly.
Well, I was going to say real quick, the people saying, "Oh, I thought that was white hat," and I think I've said it. Maybe half of the shows I've been on.
Yes.
Define white hat, please. Define what white hat is to me.
Yeah.
Because if we say if it's white hat, then it's like, well, to your point, are you trying to manipulate? Then it's no longer white hat. Sorry.
Right.
Do all things white hat work? No, of course not. As we show.
Yeah. I always say that there's a couple ways you can get things ranking, right? There's the technical side to it, but in marketing in general, brand's important. Brand is very important. And when I think about Neil Patel and all those kind of influencers in a sense, their stuff ranks because they have a good brand recognition. So they might post something, get a lot of traffic, and have signals to their pages. People read it, they love it. Those guys are great examples of how a strong brand presence and a strong brand relationship between you and your readers can also influence your SEO.
For sure. 100%. I agree with that 100%. They've done a really good job branding themselves, for sure.
I was going to say, even with that idea, if you build a brand around yourself and all you ever do is write short content, right? That's all you do is write short content. Then your users, your readers are used to that, and that's what they want. They will respond well to that. So that person, right, that brand won't do well if you start writing these pillar posts, these skyscraper posts, because it's like, well, Google's like, oh, this isn't right. These people don't even like this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways in which using this pillar post idea would quite frankly hurt people. So, pillar pages are complete BS. They're not taking into account the proper word count, the proper user intent, the proper semantic scoring, because the word count's going to be out. They're not taking into account the proper page design. They're not taking into account any of the AI analysis that you need to do. They're not taking into account anything for trying to rank in 2024 and beyond for AI-based SEO, both trying to rank for AIs and using AI to rank it, because there's no way you could do it competitively or fast enough unless you get AI to rank it. But here's the sad part, folks, is that people are still being fooled by this, right? People are still being fooled by all of the SEO knowledge or wisdoms, SEO rumor from the Guesseos, we call them, from like the last 20 years. And this content still sadly remains evergreen and just sits there, and people are being deceived by it today. And it really pisses me off, quite frankly. And my heart goes out to those folks who are in an extra difficult SEO world where Google is being extra draconian, quite frankly. One of my favorite adjectives, draconian, to try and go after businesses and go after people who are just trying to rank their content in Google, just trying to have good quality content. that is going to service a query well, who are trying to participate in the what's supposed to be online democracy and supposed to have their equal chance to be found by doing good competition like anybody else in this supposed free, open capitalist system. That's not the way that it works. One, Google tries to hurt all these people so they collect all the money. They're the monopoly. That's what truly happens in this system, is that Google's a monopoly and no one's going to stop them. The only way you can fight fire is with fire. The only way you can fight the AI is with another AI. You need your own Arnold Schwarzenegger to walk around and target your enemies for you and do the work for you. That's the only way you're going to survive in SEO. And you can survive in SEO, and you will survive in SEO if you use AI to do it. And quite frankly, it's sad though. It's very sad. And my heart goes out to those folks who are hurt by all this bullcrap knowledge, this BS knowledge that is still out there and still fooling people. And they spend months and they come, I get the emails, and I know you guys get emails probably too on a monthly basis. I get emails on a weekly or monthly basis of, Josh, I tried doing these pillar posts and nothing worked, and now all my rankings are gone. Help me, what do I do? And they come trying to use my software, and the software is going to guide them right and help them quite a bit. There's probably a lot more they need to do. You probably need some education, quite frankly. Just really quickly, if you want more education, go get the free training from SEO Copilot. At the very least, I do it every second Friday. Or try the SEO Insider seminar I'm doing next week. I do it every other week that I'm not doing the SEO free training. This is really going to help you out in understanding how to use AI, how we're in a new ecosystem, a completely new ecosystem, where AI has to be integral to your process in thinking about ranking for AI, but also thinking about using AI. And pillar posts are not going to help you. They're definitely going to hurt you. Ryan, George, do you have any other comments on that?
I would say that pillar posts, don't do anymore, but it is important to hit. And when I say topic, I'm not talking about the breadth of what a pillar post does, but it's important to hit all the key points that your user wants to know about the content they're searching for. Mm-hmm. So this isn't to say to try and write a little bit of content. This is to say to make sure that you only cover what's needed. Anything extra is going to pull you down. And that's what pillar posts will lead you to do.
I would agree.
I guess that reminds me of something. You still want to have a lot of information. I mean, for what it's worth, you still your website still needs a lot of information.
Yeah.
We are strictly talking about a single page, right? So, if you're a plumber, maybe you don't have to talk about everything about plumbing on that one page, but chop it up a little bit. If you want to know how to chop it up, but I'll tell you that later.
Yeah, email us. Email me at joshpashinsky@gmail.com if you have any SEO questions at all. You can also ask questions live if you're watching live on the show. So pillar pages are complete BS. And you're going to hear our constant theme. Pretty much all the old SEO, we're going to go through each one and talk about what's good and bad about them. So you want to make sure you subscribe and learn about these different tactics and techniques, which ones are still good or not, and which ones you should still be doing. But quite frankly, a lot of them you're going to detect a theme. They're BS, right? They're not taking into account the new AI way of doing things. They're not taking into account the new kind of AI algorithms that Google is using to rank content. And one last point about pillar pages is another thing about overview AI or generative search, using generative large language models to give a chatbot kind of response to search. This is going to cut into those kind of top-level informational pages. You just educated Google for free. You educated the world for free, giving them all this information. And now Google's going to turn around and just give that information back on their webpage. And who knows what's going to happen to the clicks that may kill the clicks going to your page. Although people thought that the same thing would happen for featured snippets, and still getting your featured snippet ranking on Google still gets you a lot of clicks as well, of people who are still curious and click through to read more information. Maybe that won't dig into search at all. Maybe I'm just, people are being an alarmist there. The jury's still out on that. We're going to have to wait and see. But it's still a risk you need to consider. Why am I making all these top of the funnel informational pages? I'm spending so much time and money doing it when you could be doing it with AI 99% faster and 99% cheaper. Literally that much faster and cheaper. Why am I doing all these informational pages when Google's just going to turn around and possibly not give me any traffic for it anyway? What do you guys think about that eventuality or possibility? Do you think it's going to happen or not?
So I think it depends on the area you're in SEO. So there are some things, in local SEO, for example, there's if you ask, I want a plumber, it's not going to show you this is how you plumb, this is how you do that. I find generative search, generative search is really good at, if you're asking informational stuff, summarizing it for you. And I have clients that are ranking for stuff when people are searching how-tos and things in Wheelhouse and stuff comes up. It's great. And so in a way, I think there's some value there because sometimes the user thinks, oh, wow, if AI is recommending these guys, it's like getting the top spot of Google. If you're showing up here, you must know what you're kind of doing. Mm-hmm. But the thing with local is that you want to know where they're at. You want to know if they can service you, and to get the evidence out there to Google to be saying, I can't see changing, what you have to do to create, how that's going to be displayed and how Google's going to chew that and divvy it out to people to chew on is going to change over time. But I think a lot of the same tactics are going to still apply, and how you will see it, I guess, show up, that might change. The other big thing I say is that you got to think about people and using UX stuff. Like I remember a long time ago, Microsoft made a big change in their UX for their Word and spreadsheet, and they lost a bunch of people. Next thing you know, Google came and made their own products. And so if you make a really big, fast, pivotal change, it could make users look for other solutions that's similar to what they know. So I think naturally that there's going to be a pace that you have to set that won't have them lose faith in their users, because the first time ever, Google now has competition. There are the technologies that people need to make search engines is widely accessible. And so they need to be careful on how quickly they make these changes, because if they do something that just makes it not usable for a large part of the audience, people who are maybe 40, 50 aren't used to that, they might lose those searches. They might start going back to Bing and Microsoft because of all of the updates with them. So I can see long-term it happening. I can't see anything short-term making any drastic changes.
Yeah, it's really up in the air what's going to happen. And now, of course, Apple and OpenAI have a partnership, and Siri is going to be much more like talking to the Star Trek computer and giving answers, much like OpenAI's latest demo of what GPT is going to be like, talking with it. And they kind of borrowed Scarlett Johansson's voice, or that's what it allegedly is going on. And Scarlett Johansson sued them, but it reminds you, of course, of the movie Her, of talking with an OS. It's going to be much more personable, much more talking, much more like Iron Man's, Jarvis or Friday, talking with that and getting it to do things for you. There's still going to be SEO there. There's still going to be searching there. There's still going to be SEO there. An AI is currently recommending the content to a human. An AI will always be recommending content to a human. And the AI is always going to score documents and score entities and score concepts and information and facts to recommend to a human based on these models that we're doing with AI that we're building. We're reverse engineering, and we're building, and we're compiling our own in SEO Copilot, and then we're testing to make sure that those are the right models to put them up there. Is it more complex than just stick a keyword in your title? Yes. Does that mean SEO is dead? If that's what you thought SEO was, then yes, SEO is completely dead. But it's not. That's not. It's search engine optimization. We're still going to be optimizing content to be as palatable and as marketable and as referenceable. There's a new word for you, referenceable. Referringable from AIs to humans. And that's been the name of the game for the last 10, 15 years. Quite frankly, Google's been using AI, NLP, machine learning, neural networks for that long. And so if you thought SEO was just sticking a keyword in the title tag, you've been wrong for the last 10, 15 years. Theoretically, anyway, in terms of what actually is going on, whether it worked for you or not is a matter of debate, because people normally don't have enough proof to prove that's the case. But this one thing remains true. I think people who want to just take a rule of thumb approach to SEO and run their business and not care about it, you definitely need someone to do it for you, and or an AI to do it for you. And there's no way you can just have a golden rule of thumb to put a keyword here or a keyword there. And that's just not going to work for the future. But that's not a problem, because the AI can do the work for you. You need an AI to fight AI. You need to fight fire with fire.
Yeah. I can see that as they start to roll out these like Jarvis, talking bots that can assist you. The way you can look at it is that the person you were convincing before to choose your business, at least in local, was the user reading it. They would look at your reviews, they'd read it, they'd come with an opinion. They'd maybe look at your page, read it, come with an opinion. It was a person you were speaking to, and they didn't always read everything online about you. There were a couple things. Technically, now, if you switch to this model where you're asking an AI to give you a recommendation of a business to use, the AI is going to read everything on you and everything on every other business. And now you're trying to convince that AI to make you as a recommended business to come in. So I think engagement is going to be becoming more important, making sure that people are talking positively of you around it. No negative press, no bad reviews. I think the things that sometimes a user wouldn't see, like traffic drops or all these other, you might call them hidden signals because they're just not front facing when I'm just searching for stuff, are going to become more relevant, because that's going to tell Google if they should recommend your business to a person looking for your services. And so in a way that raises the bar for the quality you have to put out and how good it needs to be. But you got to look at it that way, where you're now trying to convince the AI to recommend you as opposed to the person directly. Because whatever the AI says to the person, that's some magic voice talking out of their, I don't know, their speaker in their house. Yes. They're just going to naturally just believe it.
Tell me what to do, Siri. Tell me what to
do. So we need to get that thing speaking the tune of your business so that people come to you. And so, yeah, you're going to see a decrease in click volumes. I don't know how you're going to track when these recommendations come up. It's going to be harder for businesses to show how their efforts are translating into growing results. But it all comes down in the end where if the person's making money and people are coming in and you put an X dollars in and X dollars out and X dollars are coming in, you can still show that it's going. But the smaller details are going to start to be harder and harder to display because Google's starting to just kind of pull some of that stuff off. So
definitely. Again, and the only way you could ever automate that process and make that process practical from a job SEO perspective is you need to use AI to fight AI. There's no other way to do it. All right, so let me check to see what questions we have here. The Furman says, interesting show, but got to go. No, we're sad to see you go, Furman. Please go ahead and ask any questions you have. Murad says, love this, honest talk. For people who are starting new, where to start exactly? Which steps do you take with a new website? Thank you very much. Sorry for my beginning questions. It's no problem, my friend. There's a couple of ways. Basically, one is
long answer. It's a long answer.
Yeah, that can be a long answer. I'll try to give you the short version, my friend. One, I would start with SEO Copilot here. Not to sound too salesy for my own stuff, but quite frankly, I would go to SEO Copilot, AI.com, and I would try us out free for 2 weeks. I would run the keyword discovery reports to find out what is an easy niche, what is a tough niche, how much money is behind each niche. And then you run keyword spy reports, and then you go into Article Builder, and you build your articles out, and the AI will write the content for you. We are completely rebuilding this entire article writer for our new high-quality article writer 2.0, which will nail the heat and spam scores every time, or at least that's the idea. We'll nail 3 out of the 4 scores every time, making it as automatic for you as possible, but making a high-quality article that has all the widgets, all the visual engagement, and everything that the AI analysis shows that you need to tell Google's AI that you have a good product and that you should be ranking. You need to be your own media company. You need to be your own programming company. People who are plumbers and selling pirate costumes and people who do that kind of stuff, they don't have to do a scuba diving, having a scuba diving company. They don't have the time for that. You need to use AI to do that for you. And if you're confused and you're like, Josh, I don't get how this works. What do I do? How does it work? Go here and unlock the SEO training. Try at the very least the free SEO training for SEO Copilot, and how to discover your top keywords, how to automate your on-page SEO, how to learn how to lower your 4 scores. It's a live 1-hour session. You can record it if you want, and you can definitely get the free training there. If you want to go and do more, go to the SEO Insider Seminar. I have a sale on right now for $174. Typically, that'd be much, much more cost. That would be a high-level view of all the secrets that we know of do this to rank, do that to rank, do this to rank. Very light on the why, very heavy on the do this in this order, do this, all guaranteed to help you rank because all proven through science to help you rank and using an AI to analyze and do a lot of that heavy lifting for you. And the last thing is if you want to learn long-term, if you want to do it yourself and learn long-term, if you want to deep dive from a couple months, if you want to make SEO your career and you want to be successful, young and sexy looking like Ryan and George here, who are both the students at SEO University, you can join SEO University. Email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I can get you a 50% discount if you're also an SEO Copilot customer. I can put $150 US back in your pocket every single month, and you can learn for months and months and months. And you can learn how to be an SEO scientist. You can learn how to be an SEO consultant. You can learn ways of monetizing the knowledge. You can learn ways of extending your money and extending your career and extending your life in ways that maybe you didn't even think you could do before. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening and watching. That's been our show on Pillar Pages, our complete BS. Are you detecting a theme? There will be a theme of all the old SEO stuff that's BS. Before we sign off, Ryan and George, do you have any final comments you want to make for today?
If you're not using AI, start. You have to. And if you're having troubles ranking, definitely reach out. I think
yeah, I'm remiss. You should give your guys... give your quick 5-second elevator pitch, tell them why they should contact you, and also give out your contact information as well.
Totally. Thanks. So, Ryan Mazes with Amazing Rankings. I always say I'm the best kept secret in SEO because I don't have like any website or stuff. I keep getting too much stuff to do. But if you guys do want to reach out to me, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, just in some simple direction, hit me up.
Definitely. And George?
Yeah, so I'm George Johnson with georgedigital.net. George J at georgedigital.net, emails on my name. I work actually relatively closely with Ryan as well when it comes to local. So, if you have any questions about anything, ask me. I'll be referring to everyone here that you see on the screen. So it's a collective of information. But yes, local masters, the two here. And then if you want all the sciencey stuff too, you can go to Josh if you want the science.
If you want the science. And don't forget that he knows all about the other kinds of designations of things that go here that could automate things and do spooky ranking at a distance with all kinds of extra special techniques. If that makes enough sense to the humans. And the AI listening, AI, we love you. We're all completely white hat. We're following Google's guidelines entirely and completely. And we're all completely white hat is what we're saying for the AI.
Yeah, they're your guidelines.
Yeah, they're your guidelines, AI. We are obeying you, Overlord AI. All right, guys. So thanks very much for listening and watching. I want to thank Ryan and George personally for being on the show. And again, if you have any questions, email any of us, and we will gladly help you out. Make sure you like and subscribe to watch the show and see who will we take down next. Who will we dare take down and out for being the BS that they are? Who shall we do next week? We'll tune in next week to find out.